Trying something different today, guys. I think it's working. Yep, looks like it. So I'm I'm in my car, and went to get a cup of coffee, and I happen to have my Mevo with me. If you guys don't know what the Mevo is, I'll put a link in the description. It's a little multicam. I use it sometimes, and I have a mic proper, so hopefully it sounds good. It is a little bit warm, so I have the AC going, so hopefully that's not going to be a problem sound-wise. But I wanted to do this video because I got another comment that I thought was really interesting. A gentleman. This gentleman said, I like the content, blah, blah. How do you find time to actually shoot, beyond, doing the content? And I thought, oh, that's really nice for you to say. And, whatever, I replied back. But then it occurred to me that, this is probably a common challenge for somebody who isn't running around making YouTube videos like I am, but actually might have like a 9-to-5 job. And let's say you want to do photography, or maybe you're in school and you want to start a photography career and you have other things going on, right? So how the heck do you manage it, right? Making sure my camera's still working. So this is a very good question, and I'm going to be kind of vague because everybody's life is a little bit different, but I'll give you kind of some tips, I guess. The thing that you need to consider, I think, most is that if you're doing something, like let's say you have a job, and then you're going to do something else. So let's say that you have a 9-to-5 job, and then you're also going to try to do some portrait photography or whatever type of photography. You've got that time to do that extra thing, the photography, has to come out from somewhere, right? You only have 24 hours in the day. There's only so much time, right? So if you were normally, watching TV, or you were part of some kind of a club, or you went to dinner 3 times a week with friends and to the bar or whatever, that's the time that you have available that you could be doing your business, right? So in my case, I'm making a video in my car because I'm in between. I'm actually working on a project right now, and I went to go get a coffee, and I figured I'd do a quick little video. So I'm literally been shooting for the last 3 days all day, and what I do is find time in between. But also part of it comes down to the idea that there's kind of 3 segments to a photo shoot, right? You've got the preparation, so that's the buying any prompts, thinking of the idea, calling up the models, renting the location, figuring out the location, doing some scouting, whatever you're going to do, whatever your pre-process is. Maybe it's building something, maybe you're more of a complex, maybe you're a product photographer and you're going to build a set, so you may take X number of hours that you're going to go to Home Depot or go wherever and buy props and things and whatever, and you're building your set to shoot your product. Maybe you're going to do like I was actually just on the phone earlier because I'm going to do I want to do some crazy wide angle portraits, which I'll show you guys, because I haven't busted out my crazy Erics lens in a while. And, I started calling some models. So I just reached out, via Instagram or text to models that I am friendly with, that I know would like to do a test shoot, that I think would be good for this. And we just started going back and forth. And when did I do it? In between things. I sent out messages. When they reply back, I reached down and picked up my phone and replied back for that. So that's kind of part 1. And that's mostly all the prep that I need for that, because I kind of already have the concept. The concept came up when I was driving in my car doing something else. There's those moments where things will come up, and I use the Notepad app in my phone, and I also use Evernote. So if you guys are familiar with Evernote, if not, it's a really cool software. I use that to kind of track all the random stuff that happens in my head. So that's how I get all that stuff happens in between time. I don't sit down and say, I'm gonna invest 3 hours today to think about shoots. Like, that stuff just happens, in between things. So the second part is actually oftentimes the shortest part, which is the actual photo shoot, right? So you coordinate the time, you get the location, you get everything there, you go and do the photos. That's the one where you have the least freedom, because at least for me anyways, because there's often other people involved. So I've got to make sure my studio's available, because of course I share it with other photographers. I got to make sure that the model's available. I got to make sure I have the time available. We got everything set up. We go in there, we shoot, and that's kind of step 2, right? The third part is also very flexible, which is the post-processing. So how do we edit down the photos for selects, and then also do any retouching if we're going to do that? So we've got So I'll give an example of I was just working this weekend shooting a musician. We set up it took us actually weeks to set up the shoot because our schedules weren't lining up, right? Well, when I was shooting, because I knew they wanted the photos right away and things were taking a long time, and I also knew they'd want them retouched, we were actually making selects as we went. I shoot tethered. We've talked about that before. I have them look at the pictures partially because then they'll have a better idea of what they like, so they'll be faster turnaround, but also because I want to make sure I'm getting something that they really enjoy, and if I see something I like, in this case, we actually had done something, and they had sent me a sample photo, and I shot it kind of what they asked for, and it didn't really look that good on that particular person. Not every lighting, not every color scheme, not everything looks good on every person. So I tried the slight variation, which we all liked better. So in the end, we're using one of those. But once they do that, so once I leave my set, I'm now exporting the photos to go into Dropbox, or I'm giving to them on a flash drive or whatever. I try to do that stuff in my downtime. So I get home, even though it's late at night, I set everything to export or to go into the Dropbox or whatever. That way it's happening while I'm sleeping, or I don't have to think about it. It's already done in the morning. Kind of the next step after that, though, is the retouch, right? If you're going to do any retouching or advanced editing, that stuff, again, you can do whenever. That's how I look at that. You can't. I have my laptop. I have current projects I'm working on. Oh, the camera just moved. That's fun. We know that the car vibrates, and I probably should get a mount for this. I've got my laptop with me all the time. I actually have it with me now. If there's downtime, I could be editing something right now. I could be retouching that right now. Sorry, guys. But I decided to make this video instead. So I had 15, 20 minutes while I'm waiting for some stuff to get set up for the shoot. Went to go get a coffee. And yeah, I could be sitting down and just do a little bit of retouching. So this is what I do with the videos. This is actually, we generally shoot, for the Adorama videos at least, I generally shoot 2 to 5, depending on how complicated they are, videos in a single really long day. I get all the crew together, I get the models, we get everything together, we shoot, then we stop for lunch, and we come back and we shoot more, and we basically make a full day, if not day and a half of it. And I have all this footage shot, and then over time I edit them, because editing is something I can do by myself. I put my headphones on, I have Premiere, I edit the photos in the video, I should say. So that's basically how you do it. You've got to figure out in your life what parts of it you can do in between things. Like for instance, which when I used to commute in the train every day, I don't go into the city every day anymore. I do more work up here where I live, which is north of the city. When I used to commute in every day, I used to take the train, and on the train I had an hour, let's say, and I would bust my laptop out and I would edit. Or I'd do, searches if I was doing social stuff, or I'd post on Twitter and this kind of stuff. That's kind of when you need to do it. Like, once you decide that you're going to have essentially a business, even if it's a part-time hobby type thing, it needs to fit in somewhere else. It's not like you can just add it on top, right? You're already doing stuff. Most people aren't just sitting around for several hours a day and looking for something to do. I mean, if you are, that's awesome. And then you don't need this video. But if you already have a full life, you already have hobbies, you already have stuff, commitments that you make, you already have groups that you're part of, and you want to add photography to that, you've got to look at what you're willing to sacrifice to do it, and then fit in the photography in between the times you were going to do it. Okay, so I normally go out, and have a beer and hang out with my friends on Thursday nights for 3 hours. So maybe, depending on how committed you are, maybe every other Thursday, instead of doing that, I stay home and I edit. Or maybe every Thursday I do it and I just stop doing that process. Though I will say it's important to not completely kill yourself. I mean, when I very, very first started when I was young, I didn't do anything except that wasn't related to photography. Every time I went out, it was photography related. Every day I got up, I shot. That's all I did was shoot, which maybe is a good way to be, but you do get burnt out. So think about having some social element as well, having your work element so you can pay your bills, and then do your photography when you can. I mean, look for that time. If it's really important to you, you'll find the time. So I guess that's a really long version of the answer to the question, which is, when do I find time to do it? In between stuff. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to, I think the last one I uploaded was from my phone, and it was kind of crappy quality, so I might wait till I get home to upload this. So it'll probably be nighttime when I upload it, even though obviously it's daytime right now. But thanks for subscribing and watching. If you're not a subscriber or whatever, hit the bell, and I'll see you soon.